Part 39. Exploring the World, starting from the discovery of the White Bone Dragon Pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 381. Yes, she really didn't expect that the Taishan Mansion Lord had such a true temperament. He would give gifts as soon as he was told, wouldn't answer questions if he didn't want to, and fall out with him just as he said he would. But it was really just a falling out, and nothing else was done. This was the first time he had seen such a friendly god and immortal, and such a personable person. No wonder Tu Gong asked Yeshi to go to Mount Tai. He emphasized many times that the Lord of Taishan was a god and could be said to be responsive to all requests. He was completely different from Kunlun and Buzhu. Even minor gods such as the Earth God and the Mountain God can walk at the foot of Mount Tai and talk loudly. The Earth God was a little stunned when he first saw Ye, but after hearing his words, he nodded happily. Yes, yes. But Yes Yen got the answer so quickly. After asking this question, the landowner started talking to himself again. Mr. Taishan is indeed a true god. He is well known in heaven and in the underworld. Now that Yes Yen's matter is over, where else should we go next? Yeshi did not choose to tell what happened between him and Taishan Mansion, so he ignored the previous question from Tu Gong and saw that the topic was over. He lowered his head slightly and shook his head after listening to the question the Earth God just asked. No need, I can already get the answer to the question I want from this Lord of Taishan Prefecture. If I continue to go to those sacred mountains, I won't be able to ask what I want to know. I guess if I really went to Kunlun to ask questions, I would be beaten out. The audience in the live broadcast room listened to Yeshi's words and thought for a while. In the end, they couldn't think of anything. However, there were many strange barrages in the live broadcast room. Could it be that Brother Ye and Lord Taishan had a falling out? What kind of questions did Brother Ye ask? The boss didn't want to repeat them, so he was thrown out directly. Golden Mouse, let me take a guess. I think the question must be related to the underworld. It should involve a shocking secret, so I keep it secret. 1,000 miles away, I don't need you to explain this kind of answer that a human brain can come up with. So why didn't Brother Ye tell us what happened? I thought he would explain it, but he didn't even look at you. I just wanted you to look in the mirror, but after comparing the previous things, I found that this is indeed the case. Obviously, no matter what it was before, Brother Ye would explain it. Dragon Kingdom. All over the Lingshan Mountain, many trees grow extremely tall, and occasionally there will be a glow in the air. This is because the spiritual energy here has become so thick that it almost feels like a liquid. Originally, Yeshi thought that Blue Star would increase its dimension once. Now it seems that his thinking was a little too simple, because Blue Star is still continuing to ascend to the dimension, and the dimension it spans in one jump made Yeshi look at him. All kinds of life on Earth are being nourished by the world. One flower and one world are really reflected in the Blue Star after the dimension is ascended. Anyway, many people were sucked into the flower and saw a different world, and many wonderful things happened as a result. Of course, technology is also developing vigorously, but now technology has only become an auxiliary tool for cultivating immortality, which is completely different from its previous positioning. Many lives in the classic of mountains and seas have reappeared on Blue Star. Except for the candle dragon that Yeshi saw before, which has not yet completely arrived, those weak creatures have all appeared on the ground, including the Western world. If Yeshi traveled through time at this time, he would definitely suspect that he had entered the world on the side of cultivating immortals, the world of immortal heroes. Such a world seems to be full of vitality but is actually full of dangers. If it weren't for the fact that Yeshi cheated while also opening some cheats to Longuo, the humans on Blue Star will definitely not have the same easy life as they do now. The Earth God and the Mountain God stayed in Blue Star. Yeshi then went to Kunlun and saw people with human heads and snakes as their tribe, claiming to be descendants of the Wa God clan, coming down from Kunlun. These Wa people have many beautiful jade on their bodies, and each of them carries a heavy aura of twilight. It is not like this era, at least it was hundreds or thousands of years ago. However, Yeshi only stood at the foot of the mountain for a while and did not go up the mountain. But sooner or later he has to go to Kunlun, and the missing Mount Buzhu and Mount Sumeru. But the most important thing now is to prepare for going to other dimensions. That is a dimension that belongs exclusively to dragons. The sky is high and the clouds are light. It's another good season. Especially since Yeshi was still walking in the mountains and fields, and had stated in advance that he was looking for a dragon this time. This scene simply made many people hallucinate, as if they were back when Yeshi had just broadcast live. Is this scene very similar to the scene in a certain place? Yes. Is this an alien planet, where to find dragons? It's strange to say that we are the only ones with dragons on Blue Star, but there are dragons from other places. Burning Cloud is me. Does anyone know what planet Brother Ye will go to live broadcast on this time? Every time I watch the live broadcast room, I hallucinate something incredible, and it is the same this time. If you compare the two live broadcast rooms, you should be able to find that this is the same place. It just so happened that at this time. Yeshi looked up at the camera. Yes, I am still in Blue Star, where I went to the Bone Dragon Pond. What, do you think I went to an alien planet? Yeshi was speechless looking at these barrages. Besides, the place I'm going to for this live broadcast adventure is not an alien planet. I plan to go to other dimensions to take a look. I heard that dimension is full of dragons. Dimension? All dragons? Dragon lovers are overjoyed. Then why are we going this way? How should we get to the dimension? Should we open the ancient Starry Sky Road? Tomcat, of course not. You can go to a dimension as long as you know the coordinates. If you don't know the coordinates, you can't go there even if you open the ancient Starry Sky Road. If you have any ideas, you can contact me. I am the most conscientious vendor in all the worlds. The most unconscionable vendor in all the worlds. I am just revisiting the old place this time. Looking at these things that happened a long time ago, I really feel emotional. Originally, such a desolate wilderness became a famous mountain and river because of a real dragon. Mountains are not high, but they are magical if there are immortals. Water is not deep, but it is magical if there are dragons. Now it seems that what I said the first time was completely correct. Yeshi looked at the distant mountains, turned around, and turned his back to the mountain that had been blown up. Okay, now after watching it, we can go to the dimension that belongs exclusively to dragons. He stretched out his hand and drew a circle in front of him, shining with golden light. Yeshi passed through. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the White Bone Dragon Pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 382. It is not a very simple thing to go to different dimensions. It is more difficult than a savage civilization to evolve to a star-sea civilization. Just trying to get the coordinates means you will have a narrow escape, and you may not be able to get them. People or civilizations that can cross dimensions are already considered the highest level of existence. And if there are any lucky ones out of millions who cross the latitude, they will all die. Yeshi also obtained the coordinates of the dragon dimension from the system, coupled with his own 100 million point ability, otherwise he would have been struggling for who knows how many years like other people/civilizations who want to cross dimensions. But even if you know the dimensional coordinates, it's not easy to cross. The distance between space and time cannot be described, it is far more outrageous than that. In fact, you can know if you think about it. It is impossible to enter the world on a two-dimensional drawing. This is completely different from those ghost paintings in ancient times. The two-dimensional world is purely two-dimensional, unlike those records where there are 3D people. But Yeshi once got a rotten paper boat a long time ago. Although the original function of this paper boat is not like this, it is perfect for use across dimensions. Rotten boat, in many legends, It has been said that the physical body is a boat, and the soul is the person crossing the sea on the boat. This rotten boat has such an effect, and may be able to pass through it. The other side, but no one has ever succeeded. Yashi thought of what the system had said before. He was unconvinced about the theory of the soul on the other side. Besides, the direction of his practice is not in this direction. So this rotten boat is of no use to him. It has always been placed in his world as a decoration. But after deciding on the destination for this live broadcast adventure, Yashi additionally obtained from the system that this ship could cross dimensions, so he took it out immediately. Now, this is what's being used across the galaxy. Judging from the naked eye, this tattered thing can be blown over by a gust of wind, and it also has a rotten look on it, so those who look at it should be careful. The live broadcast shot first went through periods of darkness, the light flickered, and then returned to normal. I'm crossing latitudes. I don't know what the live broadcast room is like. But it's okay, I can almost see it. Latitude. I saw nothing, only a boat. This boat is still in tatters, and it doesn't match Brother Yes' previous glamorous magic weapon. A ship that can travel across latitudes must be a great treasure of Delugo. Chain, is your Delugo so cheap? What about wholesale? Tomcat, this boat, I bought it. I, Wang Duyu, have invested in this project. This ship is just a little thing I picked up when I was exploring the Sun planet. It was originally intended to be used as a decoration, but I didn't expect to discover a new function. Actually, before preparing to set off, I tried to ask Tiangong to repair the ship, but unfortunately there was no way. It seems that the technical means far exceeded the Tiangong's understanding. So, that's it? Yogurt ice cream, I have a soulful question, why does a magic weapon of this level still rot? Maybe it's because there are equal magic weapons. No, why should I answer such a stupid question? Oh, my stupid. Rotten for what? How do I know this? Yashi saw this article posted on the barrage and wanted to ask him to answer it. He could only spread his hands and give such an answer directly. It doesn't matter whether it rots or not, as long as it can be opened. Yashi clicked on the rotten boat, and then placed the two chi dragons on the boat. Originally there was nothing before, but after he released the along, these two chi dragons had the same stress response. When they jumped up, their scales exploded and all their energy was mobilized. They were very uncomfortable with this environment. What's wrong? Yashi touched the little along's head, but saw the other person immediately crawling up along his hand, and tremblingly hid in Yashi's arms. So scared. Seeing the movements of the little along, the big dragon hid in Yashi's arms. At this moment, there were two dragons in his arms, one big and one small. The two dragons were hiding deeper and deeper, wishing they had to appear in this place. Good guy, this is the first time I see these chi dragons looking so scared. Is this latitude thing scarier than I thought? Golden Mouse, obviously, something happened that we didn't know about, but it's okay. Fortunately, we didn't know about it, otherwise I think something would happen to us. Okay, that's great. Are you so scared just because of latitude travel? I am God, so what do you think? Traveling through latitudes is like reaching a space elevator in ancient times. To travel through the universe, it's as scary as it is. Good guy, you finally stopped pretending, right? Your true face has been revealed. Let me tell you what kind of person dares to take such a name. You are indeed a god. I am God, name is like ID, never hidden. Why are you so scared? Are there any monsters in this dimension? Yashi held a long along in each hand and looked around. In the end, he really saw it. A huge monster appeared in the shadows in the distance. Such a heavy industrial monster is completely incomparable to Yashi's tattered little ship. Yashi took a closer look and found that this thing is a super large fleet. It should be trying to cross the dimension, but it failed at the beginning. Are you afraid of this thing? Yashi frowned. He didn't think so, but curiously looked behind the monster, but his eyes could not cross the dimension. So he asked the system. Tongzi, what happened here? Ding, a dimension has been destroyed, all the stars have gone out, a dimension that is gradually dying and disappearing. Therefore, all the life in this dimension exhausted the resources of the entire dimension to prepare for a cross-dimensional survival, but in the end it failed. Because they don't have any coordinates of other dimensions, nor do they have the technology that can cross dimensions, or a single cosmic single-strength individual. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 383. Ding, when all the starlight in the dimension disappears, the entire dimension also falls. It is very similar to the death of the universe, but it is thousands of times faster than the destruction of the universe. There is only one way to escape the death of the dimension. Falling with the dimension, and the civilization in front of you, the host, is unwilling to fall with the dimension, so it just wants to escape from the dimension, but it is doomed to fail. Ding, Ilong is not afraid because of this, but because of the danger hidden in the cracks of the dimensions. Please note, host, that the boat you used to cross dimensions has rotted in some places, is not in a complete state, and cannot be fully protected. Host, when traveling in dimensions, danger follows you everywhere, and Ilong feels an unprecedented danger. Yashi actually just asked because of these two trembling chi dragons. Unexpectedly, it involves the descent of another dimension, the destruction of civilization, and even the danger of dimensional travel. Although I also understood the reason why Ilong was afraid. But why did he feel something was wrong? But after thinking about it, Yeshi finally did not put the two chi dragons back into his own world. After all, living in such an uncompetitive world for a long time would make the dragons useless. Didn't you see that these two chi dragons spend their days just looking at the scenery besides the trees? It was simply more comfortable than his master. No, absolutely not, we have to roll everyone together. In front of him was a huge destroyed fleet, but other lives appeared in the shadows. It wanders in the dimension, just like a fish swimming in water. It is swimming towards this destroyed civilization, then opens its big mouth and swallows the contents. It wasn't until it finished eating and left that Yesai glimpsed a corner of this mysterious dimension of life, but he couldn't describe it in words. He only knew that it had an extremely thick and countless aura on it. This is. The camera followed Yeshi's gaze and captured the behemoth between reality and reality. The dim light disappeared and a corner appeared, causing many people to exclaim. The terrifying aura seemed to pass through here and go to a different dimension. This creature suddenly passed by, but Yeshi suddenly looked away and looked at the ruins. The ruins are still ruins, nothing has changed, making people wonder what this huge, incredible thing just swallowed when it opened its mouth. Until Yeshi withdrew his gaze and said with a sigh. Although I don't know what that life was just now, but the other party actually used civilization as its food. Only in a place where all different dimensions can be accessed now can such magical life appear. When, civilization, eat a civilization, let me ask, how should a civilization eat? Text, culture, language. It should all be included, but I really didn't understand it. It was so exciting at the beginning, I don't know how exciting it will be in the future. My poor two dragons were very frightened. I am willing to swap places with you, please Q1 if you hear me. Stop Ching, your calculations are so hard that I can hear them in another dimension. Why don't you switch with me and hear Q2? The rotting boat slowly moved forward. During this intermediate journey, yes, she really saw a lot of interesting things that only existed in this place, and there were also many existences that even he felt were extremely dangerous. Yes, she even witnessed a dimension falling downwards. He didn't know exactly how many dimensions he fell from, but all life and non-life in the entire dimension had become low-dimensional and no longer what they used to be. It's much more lively here than in the universe. But after watching this live broadcast, many people suddenly missed the empty starry sky that seemed to have no life. Although it was a bit colder, it was not as scary as it is now. Sure enough, any life will bring a strong feeling of threat to every intelligent life. Even if there is no communication, the intelligence will feel that another intelligent life is very scary. Get ready, we're coming. Goodbye, goodbye, my cosmic mother, I will sail away today. I am even more timid about being close to home, and I don't dare to continue watching the live broadcast. Every time someone upstairs said that he didn't dare to watch it again, but he watched it every time. I seem to have seen a gleaming golden light. Is that our destination? I heard that all the dragons in this destination are dragons. We can see some of them. Is it my illusion? Why do I feel that I am not so holy, but full of evil feelings? The shabby boat, which was still somewhat decayed in many places, sailed into this dimension of dragons. Crackling. A burst of mysterious light flashed. The scene in the live broadcast room quickly changed drastically. The air here has turned into substance, and it looks colorful. There are also many sharp stones on the ground, and there are big holes in the ground like yellow sand. There is no sunlight here, all the bright light comes from the cave. Once you enter this different dimension, Yeshi felt that the energy outside his body was constantly being reorganized. If a mortal enters this dimension, within a 10,000th of a second, his body will completely transform into a python. The energy around Yeshi is frantically trying to pour into his body for transformation. However, this intention was blocked by Yeshi. But even if you stop it, you can't stop the consciousness of this dimension. This is the dimension of dragons. Only real dragons can appear in this dimension. Therefore, Yeshi is actually fighting against the rules of the entire dimension now. But how can one person's power start a war with a dimension? Maybe Yeshi can do it in the future. But now? Obviously not. The dimension wants to transform Yeshi into a life in this dimension, and he is about to resist. But in an instant, a huge shadow appeared behind Yeshi. This phantom is different from the one in Mount Tai. What is projected is not the Kunlun sacred tree, but the entire world. Yeshi directly projected the entire world in order to resist the power of the dimension. At the beginning, it was Yeshi who fell into a disadvantage and was about to be reformed. As a result, a vast phantom of the world appeared behind him, enveloping him. Now Yeshi seemed to be standing at the center of the world. And this world is helping him resist the ubiquitous dragon power. The forces on both sides were in a tug of war, and the cold sweat that had been falling down Yeshi's forehead began to evaporate. Please respectfully call this dimension the snake dimension. No. You call these things dragons. Oh my God, there are so many big pythons. It's amazing that someone like me who is afraid of snakes is not afraid of this big python. On the contrary, I have a feeling of admiration for these big pythons. With no horns or claws, it is definitely not a dragon, but didn't Brother Ye promise to take us to see a real dragon? Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 384. Yeshi finally felt his body begin to return to normal. However, he now completely understood how dangerous it was to cross dimensions. Even with his current strength, he would be like this if he was not careful, let alone others. Fortunately, exploring this dimension was still within his tolerance. Looking through the clouds in the distance, he saw the dragon, or the python, hovering in this dimension. And the familiar system ding 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 sound also rang in his ears. This time the system reminder came later than Yeshi imagined. After all, when crossing dimensions, he had seen incredible things many times, but the system did not report them. Ding, Congratulations to the host for exploring the Dragon Dimension map, which has increased by 15%. The overall progress is now 15%. Ding! Congratulations to the host for unlocking the first puzzle of the Dragon Dimension, and the rewards are Xuanhuan Fruit X10, Bodhisattva Stone X1, Ruyi Pearl X1, Dapo Incense X10, Wugen Dragon Rain X10 Secret, Dragon Dimension Map Illustration, Dragon Dimension, Tongtian Dragon Snake. Dragon Dimension Illustration, Dragon Dimension, Tongtian Dragon Snake. Dragon Dimension, this is a dimension where only dragons exist. However, in different dimensions and even in the universe, there are many images of dragons. The dragons here are different from the dragons on the blue planet. They are more like a big python, winding around the dimension. The coordinates of the Dragon Dimension are easier to know among the heavens and the worlds, but the assimilation power in this dimension is extremely strong, and many different lives are transformed into dragons. Therefore, this dimension often fights and is extremely dangerous. Tongtian Dragon Snake, before the Dragon Dimension appeared, there was a special dragon snake in the heavens and myriad worlds. Although it is called a dragon snake, it looks more like a python than a dragon. It becomes more powerful as time goes by. It hovers in a dimension and transforms everything in this dimension into the Dragon Dimension. This Tongtian Dragon Snake is still hovering outside the Dragon Dimension, but its body has been transformed into a higher dimension and cannot be detected by ordinary life. Fateless Fruit. The Dragon Dimension and Buddhism have a great connection. Anyone who practices Buddhism must cut off the dust in all directions and the myriad dust. However, to do this, you must have great perseverance and ability. However, this fruit can eliminate all your karma in the mortal world, cut off millions of fate, and glimpse the realm of Mahayana. Bodhisattva Stone. A Buddhist dragon girl left behind when she passed by the dragon world holding this stone can go to the Western paradise and gain the experience of the Bodhisattva position. It is a treasure that can achieve the Bodhisattva fruit. Ruyi Pearl. As I wish, as I wish. This is a treasure left behind by a powerful demon who mistakenly entered the dimension of dragons and fought with the dragons. The dragons have been trying to find it, but have never found it. This powerful demon is still imprisoned in the dimension of dragons. Dharma Incense. The incense that can make you a Buddha. It is said that before the Buddha of the West became enlightened, he smelled this incense every day, and then he realized the truth under the Bodhi tree, and then he entered the Mahayana. Rootless Dragon Rain. Dragons have the ability to make it rain, and all the rain is taken from the Sea of Heaven. The rain in the Sea of Heaven is all powerful. If you drink this rain, you may be able to respond to the Sea of Heaven and become a non-human. This time, the rewards from the system were more than Yeshi could have imagined. Not only were there more, but the quality was also extremely high, which made Yeshi feel that it was worthwhile for him to take such a long time to come here by boat. After all, it was like this at the beginning. Wouldn't there be more treasures to be obtained later? Yeshi looked at the previous text, but he was extremely curious about the Wuyuan fruit. But, Tongtian Dragon Snake. Is it the dragon snake I see in front of me? Yeshi's eyes passed through the layers of space, and he could see a claw falling from the sky in the unseen depths, passing through the ground, and he didn't know where it fell. Originally, he thought it was some giant monster in this dimension. But he didn't expect it to be the Tongtian Dragon Snake that created the Dragon Dimension. After the first glance, Yeshi knew that he couldn't look anymore. He clearly sensed that if he continued to look, the other party would probably look at him. Tongzi, is there any other information about this Tongtian Dragon Snake? Ding! In a battle that affected a large area, he fell into a deep sleep. His consciousness has completely fallen asleep and he cannot wake up for the time being. Even if he can sense your gaze, it is only the will remaining in his body that is watching you. It will not have any effect on you. Unless you fight with the Tongtian Dragon Snake directly, you can do anything in the Dragon Dimension. Yeshi understood. He nodded, and then looked at the live broadcast room. The people in the live broadcast room were very shocked to see this completely different world of dragons, but the most shocking thing was, you call it a dragon, Are you sure this is not too much a species or a mutant python? You call this a dragon? Xiaolong is more like a dragon than this. It's not right. How can this be a dragon? If we hadn't seen along, we would have really believed this statement, but this, you are. I looked at the two dragons in Brother Yes' arms, and then looked at the python in the dragon dimension in front of me and fell into deep thought. This is indeed a dragon. Yashi was speechless, but still tried to explain. You see, in the legend of Blue Star, those big lizards with wings in the west are dragons, so is it strange that these big pythons in front of us are dragons? It shouldn't be strange, right? From the name, these are indeed dragons, but if you think they are not dragons, you can also call them pythons. Hey, don't worry about it for now, let's go, let's explore this new dimension. This is a completely different dimension. There are only dragons besides dragons. I'm afraid that except for me, the entire dimension is all in this form. Yashi pulled out a grass, which also looked like a python. In fact, in this world where there are not so many dragons but pythons, many people will be very scared and even unwilling to continue watching the live broadcast. However, no one said so this time. They are all questioning whether this is a dragon. This is because the Tongtian dragon snake itself has a holy nature, and the dragon dimension hatched by it is also like this. Actually, I don't really want to watch it. I originally had an unrealistic idea and wanted to catch a few dragons in the dragon dimension to raise them, but now, it's better for them to raise me. Evil Taoist, why can't I raise this? Discrimination against pythons, right? Look at how poisonous his scales are, how scary his eyes are, and at first glance he has the potential to be an emperor. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 385. Since entering Brother Yes live broadcast room, I have discovered the many possibilities of human beings. This is okay, and that is okay. Although what you said is rather vague, I can completely understand what you mean. High five. Yashi planted the grass on his hand that looked like a python again, and then continued walking forward. What grows on the ground, what flies in the sky? All of them are in the shape of dragons and snakes. Even when you look up at the clouds, you can see a big python cloud, which made many netizens vomit blood. Stop talking about this. Even the earth and sky are in the shape of dragons and snakes. That is to say, Yashi still has no way to break away from his vision and look at the entire dragon dimension, otherwise he will find that the entire dimension looks like a big python. I really feel it's outrageous. Now my eyes can no longer distinguish between a dragon and a snake. Yashi said this as he looked down at the two Qiulongs in his arms. Although he had many plans before, these plans have all disappeared now. This assimilation power from the dragon dimension was so difficult for him to resist, so he had no intention of harming the two Qi dragons he raised. One thing to say, one thing to say. Ilong is much more beautiful. I am the same, and after seeing so many of these big pythons, I, a snake phobe, am no longer afraid of snakes. I just placed an order for a big snake from Amazon and plan to keep it as a pet. I will take a 6 alone. These snakes are really beautiful and have an indescribable feeling. They are not beautiful, but they are not afraid either. Announcement bird, by the way, I noticed that wherever Brother Ye goes, he is attacked. Will there be another fight later? Please shut up your crow mouth and change your shameless ID. By the way, I am really going to hell. Oh, it's really a ghost, a bunch of big pythons are coming in front. Yashi was chatting and walking here, wasn't he? When he looked at the announcement bird's words, he actually didn't take them seriously. But who knew that its words were so outrageous? It almost didn't even have time to react before it came. Just the next second after the barrage was sent out, Yashi saw it. There were chaotic sounds in the distance. An inexplicable language rang out, like radio waves or light. The sound quickly went from gentle to rapid. Yashi knew. This is because they discovered themselves. But now, in the dragon dimension, I should be like a big light bulb with millions of watts, just shouting, "Come and catch me, come and catch me." Even the wandering earth singing Gong 11 Fa Cai is not as bright as I am now. The difference between snakes and humans is quite big. Yes, Tongzi. Ding, host, please explore on your own. Yes. Yes, she reached out and held the Kingian sword that had not appeared for a long time. This sword was trembling all over. The aqua blue sword body was full of rippling feeling, soft and with an aura of extinction. Yes, she communicated with Shenjian. I asked if it was possible to submerge the entire dimension. I was quite disappointed when I got a negative answer. However, the system promptly reminded me at this time. Ding, host, you are here for adventure, not to tear down your home. There is a sky-reaching dragon snake in the dragon dimension. Please be careful, host. Yeshi. I have to protect my own reputation. It was you who took down the Gamma MY4 star, not me. I have never thought about demolishing my home. I am just a very gentle explorer. After Yeshi finished speaking, he temporarily blocked the system unilaterally. Look at the bunch of big pythons coming quickly. These big pythons should be born naturally in the dimension. Their predecessors may be grass, soil, or even clouds. Anyway, very few are born from the mating of boa constrictors and boa constrictors. The reason why I use piles to describe the big python in front of me is because it is indeed a pile. Yeshi held the sword in his hand and looked at the big pythons squirming on the ground. Without hesitation, he smashed them all into pieces with one sword blow. Although it was easy to deal with the big python in front of me this time. But Yeshi did not let go of the sword in his hand, but held it tighter. What's going on? Why do you feel like a large army is coming here? The long breath of life came from a distance, and a large part of it overlapped together. Yeshi felt a little regretful. He had just killed the bunch of big pythons with one sword, otherwise he could have asked what happened here. As for material retrospection, didn't you see that there is a dragon and snake lying on this dimension? This is not how you seek death. Once this power is used, I don't know whether it will awaken the Tongtian dragon snake leaf, but it will definitely make the entire dragon dimension even more angry. It is already difficult enough to resist the power of the dimension. It seems like something happened ahead. Let's hide and take a look. Yeshi held the sword and said to the camera. Then his figure flashed and fell into the jungle, above the mountains. And the earth began to rumble. Yeshi felt powerful breaths getting closer and closer. Hiss. A voice in an unknown language came out. When Yeshi heard this, he realized why those big pythons appeared just now. It turns out to be a scout. A big battle is about to happen here. I didn't expect that we would encounter something like this just after entering this dimension. This is really, luck comes, nothing can stop it. Yeshi limited his voice to a certain area, and then said to the camera. It looks like this is a very unusual battle, but the aura I feel now is very strong, and it is getting stronger and stronger. If I go out now, I guess they won't fight me. Why don't we wait here, just in time to watch the real battlefield? Yeshi stepped on the air and flew up directly. He soon landed on a mountain that looked like a giant python, and then looked down. I don't know what to say when I see these piles of snakes. Delicious. Kick the doorframe, don't sleep too deeply tonight, these pythons will come to you sooner or later. Not by Dulizhija, you dare to eat this, you are worthy of being a blue star. We are still studying how to get out. I heard that we have learned a lot of amazing information from the 9 dragons pulling coffin. It is estimated that we will be able to get out soon. Wait for me, I want to settle in blue star. Evil Taoist, you are dreaming, how can you get out so easily? You are dreaming. I suggest you dream for millions of years, and it should be okay. I am now digging for ways to reincarnate and see if I can dig myself out or reincarnate out. Unexpectedly, I have never seen a human war, but only a non-human war, from giant beasts to pythons. Sure enough, there are limits to being a human. The problem is that you can't help being a human. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 386. There are limits to being a human being, so I won't be a human being anymore. The barrage in the live broadcast room was full of demons dancing wildly, and Yeshi was focused on the piles of colorful pythons at the foot of the mountain. The boa constrictor is a real snake. There is absolutely no such thing as a snake man. They are all in the form of snakes. They are similar. Apart from the differences in color and scales, there is almost no difference. Smoke and dust were blowing from the ground. Although there was no sun in the sky, the ground was still bright. Although a bit unexpected. But this is also an opportunity for us to better understand the latitude of the dragons. Unlike previous explorations, I really don't know anything this time. This statement is vaguely familiar. Originally, I thought there were many civilizations in high latitudes, but when I came here, I saw fights. Perhaps higher latitude does not mean higher civilization. Why does it feel a bit philosophical? But that's right, we blue stars have already begun to cultivate immortality, but morals are just like that. Think of the worst in everything. If you think about heaven being blown up, you will feel a lot better. Tai Shanglajun, because among the dragon dimensions, there is only one high-dimensional life, and that is the life that created this dimension. Although these dragons have a higher life level than the low-dimensional ones, they are still harmonious with humans. Same. When Yeshi saw Lao Jun's words, he nodded, looked down and continued. I don't know what the war is about this time. Resources, land, or something else. Yeshi zoomed out the camera and saw a big python holding a big python, just like a Mobius strip. Every big python that appeared in the camera had a strong fighting spirit, as if they were trying to kill the people in front of them. All the enemy snakes were torn into pieces. More than that. When these boa constrictors are hungry and thirsty, they will eat the soil on the ground, or the surrounding boa constrictor trees. They can eat anything. Some of the astonishingly growing boa constrictors have completely abandoned the low-level survival mode of eating, and instead eat snakes. Like a whale, it suddenly sucked into the sky, swallowing up some of the life of the python cloud. It doesn't look like the war is about fighting for resources. I even feel that these dragons are completely unnecessary. Yeshi's eyes were a little confused, but after listening to the babbling words of the dragons, his eyes suddenly became strange. Why does it sound like fighting just for the sake of fighting? Not fighting for anything. I am Snake, hello, yes. Ding, the host growth system has been optimized accordingly, especially the following live broadcast access mode. After the system upgrade, in the future, the host will explore any unknown field, and both the live broadcast room and the platform will be connected to that world. Ding, the current live broadcast access to the world, 16. Ding, those who are not connected to the world and enter the live broadcast room are not invited, but actively connected. If the host is not satisfied, he can choose to disconnect. Ding, the system will undergo all-round evolution in the future to provide better services to the host. In the exploration mode, more changes will be made, and the reward items will be more, the information will be more complete, and the resources will be more abundant. Yeshi bypassed this idea in his mind, and then muttered to himself. Unexpectedly, the system suddenly announced self-evolution. It's strange that it's so humane. Yeshi complained in his heart, then opened the system panel, looked at the brand new system interface, rightward arrow click to expand, and nodded. Just from the interface point of view, it is indeed optimized a lot, and it is divided into 5 sections. A very conspicuous arrow extending to infinity is the most important section, which is the main exploration section. The second one is an eye-like icon, which represents live broadcast, camera. The third one is Yeshi's personal section. The icon is a bit weird, it is a diamond suit, very standard with no mistakes or omissions, a perfect circle. The fourth plate is a fish jumping out of the sea. The fish's body overlaps with each other. The illusion and reality seem to be intertwined with countless dimensions to form this fish, which represents the universe. The fifth plate is blank and seems to have not evolved yet. Yeshi clicked on the fish icon. The world in front of him changed in an instant. Layers of the universe's sea of stars were revealed in front of Yeshi, surrounding him. He himself was in the world. Although there are countless worlds, countless dimensions, and even countless universes, they are all hidden in darkness and shadows, with only a few places shining with stars. And those places are the traces of Yeshi's journey. In addition to the planets that were lit up due to exploration, all the ancient roads in the starry sky that Yeshi passed were also lit up, scattered on the star map, like several galactic belts. It is difficult to describe high-dimensional existence in words, but among the heavens and worlds displayed in front of Yeshi, the dragon dimension he is currently in is cut apart by time and space and scattered in different places in the universe. Every place has the light of the dragon dimension. Unlike Blue Star or Baidu, it is a luminous hole that is fixed in one place. Yeshi closed this panel again, and then opened another panel representing himself. As a result, I saw a series of blinding titles, professions, cultivation levels, and especially that Atlantis. Cut off the leaves immediately and click on the main arrow. The arrow stretched to infinity, but when it was clicked, there was only darkness, and nothing could be seen clearly. What's going on? Tongzi. Ding, host, don't worry, the system is still working hard to upgrade, please check later. Yeshi was a little speechless, and simply closed the system panel. Then he found that the live broadcast room had exploded, because many unidentified beings suddenly appeared. I just went to the backstage to check and found that the number of people soared a bit terrifyingly. Did Yeshen do something extraordinary again? Wyoming, many different worlds have been connected. I don't know what this live broadcast room will look like in the future. I am Snake, this dimension is also connected. Where are you from? Why do you want to connect to this dimension? How do you connect? Do you communicate with the dimensional consciousness, or do you do something else? Communicate with the dragon snake origin? Confused. I saw Leviathan posting a selfie on the live broadcast platform, at Kraken, don't you care about it? Suzaku, I also saw Suzaku, damn, the giant beast planet is also connected? Remember those tiny lives on Mars? They seem to have appeared as well. What a complicated live broadcast room, tactical retreat. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 387. Yeshi nodded, without hiding it, and directly agreed with the Barrage's views. Yes, there are indeed a lot of people pouring into the live broadcast room. Most likely they are not people, because I have just connected to 6 worlds. But don't be too nervous. Anyway, everyone is already very familiar with these things that are most likely not human. These are all places we have been to, and we are all old friends. No, who is an old friend with them? Am I worthy? I am an old friend with them. I am a weak blue star person who cannot take care of myself. I am not worthy. My first divine treasure has not been opened yet. It doesn't matter, the other party can't come to me along the network cable anyway. Damn, Bai Vuchang, please stop coming. I don't want to play mahjong with you, can you go quickly? Fanwuju, fortunately, we didn't connect the live broadcast room to the ghosts in the underworld, otherwise we would really have to live, and we really wouldn't be able to bear it. Living King of Hell I want to ask you to do us a favor. I don't know where the doll was reincarnated before. If you can find it, Look for it, I can provide you with the reward. Can you please trouble me, you, take away this Pleiades rooster from heaven, and the rooster will crow every day, and everyone will die and croak. Lao Hu, Lao Ye, we also want to invite you here. Do you still remember the black sun you saw on the polar ice wall? We are doing research on the periphery here and have come up with a lot of things that may be helpful to you. Originally, everyone's attention was focused on the 6 connected worlds and the new generation of 16 world network Redbird Suzaku, but this attention was quickly diverted. Transferred to these real bosses in the live broadcast room. Even Yeshi was like this. He originally wanted to explain a few more words, but now he just put it aside and focused on the things in front of him. Okay, I remember what you said. But don't think about that doll. There are so many worlds. How can I know where he has gone? You might as well look through your book of life and death. When I come back from the dragon dimension this time, I will go to the polar regions to see it. Lao Hu, do you dare to go to this place? I remember that when I went there, I just looked around. If you want to die, you can find another way to die. Ala Kingdom, under the sea, we have contacted the 10 kingdoms. Now your fish has become the elder of the 10 kingdoms, and your behemoth has become the guardian beast of the 10 kingdoms. Now it is waiting for you to inherit the throne. 1,000 miles never leave 1,000 miles away. Why are everything exposed at once like pressing the fast forward button? This is not right. Is there something wrong? Big things happen every day. Okay, don't pretend you don't know. If you search, you will know that this incident in ALA country has been going on for 2 or 3 months. It is probably really stressful now. Can't live. You haven't come to the live broadcast room or left a message on Brother Yes account for 2 or 3 months. With millions of comments, the screen in the live broadcast room is so fast that it's as if you don't even have eyes. Who is paying attention? 6. Yeshi. Can he say that he saw it before but ignored it? Cannot. So this time he still pretended not to have seen it, directly skipped the topic of the ALA kingdom, and naturally moved to the battlefield of the dragon world that had been ignored for a long time. Look, the big flowered python is fighting. I don't understand. There is no such thing as weapons in this dimension. Why can't it do anything except entanglement? Isn't Gao Wei's fighting style so primitive? Why do I feel like the clouds in the sky are about to turn into spirits? Look at it sticking its head out to watch the big pythons fighting below. I am Snake, we are dragons, but you can also call yourself Big Boa Constrictor. Are you in the dimension of dragons? Where are you looking? Have you turned into a dragon? Why are you here? Is it fun here? Your world? How about our dimension? Are you from a different dimension? Let me just say, I didn't see it this time either. It's better not to talk about it, Mr. Alaguo. I guess all of Brother Yes' attention was on other things and he didn't pay attention to this matter at all. What a talkative snake. We are not next door to you, and I don't know where we are. This python looks a little cute, and the blood stains are black and yellow. Why? It's really just about fighting for the sake of fighting. When I saw them, I thought of a legendary creature, the Azura path in the 6 paths of reincarnation. Legend has it that the Azuras are like this. They fight non-stop every day. Once they can't fight, they are like dead. Could it be that these big pythons or this dimension have some Azura genes? Yes, she looked far away, and the camera was aimed at the battlefield, broadcasting various live broadcasts from multiple angles horizontally and vertically. Sometimes the camera would cut to the middle of the big python, allowing everyone to be immersed in the scene and observe without any gaps. Yes, she was explaining to the camera while watching the python fight. As the battlefield continued, there was a steady stream of big pythons chasing after him, and yes, she found one of them with a flash of spiritual light. Really, a big python with a halo above its head. His gaze suddenly retracted and looked towards the live broadcast room. I don't know if this dimension has anything to do with Azura, but it must have something to do with Buddhism. Did you see the big aperture? That big python is wearing a string of prayer beads around its neck, and it hasn't fallen off yet. Tisk, There are several tumors on the top of its head, and the light from its head can blind the eyes of other pythons nearby. Outrageous. Even if Yeshen didn't point to that place, we can find it, it's too conspicuous. I don't quite understand. I saw a big python on a big bald head. No, I'm a python, how can I tell it has a bald head? Buddha is in my heart. New year, new fantasy. I was wondering why there are only Taoist things in so many worlds, and I didn't see any Buddhist things. It turns out it's here. Dragon and snake romance, Buddha is Taoism. Yeshi went down the Python mountain. All the big pythons came to him, even the grass and trees. As soon as he moved a little, he was hooked by these hospitable python grasses. Yeshi pulled a little helplessly and planned to divide an area in his own world to plant these python grasses. After all, when going to different worlds, in addition to exploring mysteries and leaving treasures, you also have to have some specialties from the place of origin. He said this to the camera. Then he recalled carefully and found that this good habit has been preserved. He really brought some specialties to each world without realizing it. Let's go, there's nothing to see here. Let's go somewhere else. As soon as we got here, we saw giant pythons entangled with each other, and we haven't seen anything else yet. Let's go and see the difference between high and low dimensions. Although the blue star has been upgraded, this dragon dimension is still above the blue star. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 388. The difference between high dimension and low dimension. My feeling is that I need to eat, but these pythons don't. Is it possible that you need to eat, but I don't need to eat in low dimension? Tomcat. Brothers and sisters, low dimension and high dimension are not distinguished in this way. Standing in the high dimension world, you can overlook the low dimension world, from head to toe, from inside to outside, from your birth to death, and then from death to birth, all at a glance. Thank you, no need for popular science, just pretend I didn't ask. Who told you to judge high dimension and low dimension based on whether you eat or not? High dimension and low dimension have nothing to do with what the world looks like, whether you can live forever, whether you can cultivate immortality, etc. There is even a world where you can live forever, and there is no higher dimension than a world where a person will die in 100 years, because this person can see the world of immortality in 1 month or even 1 day. Then I would rather stay in the low dimension of immortality. I am God, don't break the fourth wall. In fact, low dimension and high dimension are not important, it is better to directly prove Delugo and prove eternity. Is it because I don't want to take the Tsinghua University entrance exam? Wyoming, there are only a few Delugo, you can count them with your poor fingers, that's enough. Yeshi walked in the dragon world. He was just walking around this time, after all, the whole dragon dimension was in a state full of fog. But as he walked, he heard a sound. No. It was the sound of many lives. Yeshi suddenly said this, then closed his eyes and stopped for a while, and walked towards a place. Why close your eyes? It's just a sense of ritual. What is Brother Ye doing? Why did he suddenly close his eyes? What's that sound? Why am I deaf and can't hear anything? Look at it from a positive perspective, maybe you are really deaf. Golden-haired shellfish, I can't hear anything either. Since Brother Ye stopped exploring the solar system, I found that I can't keep up with his version. It's here. Yeshi stopped at a place. This place is no different from other places. It's just the same grass, the same land, the same trees. The same flowers, plants, and trees in the shape of giant pythons. Yeshi suddenly turned back and stopped at this place, which puzzled many people. At this time, many big guys suddenly appeared in the live broadcast room. Zhang Baron, so that's it? Umidba. Tais Hanglajun, a drop in the ocean. Ranyun is me, I advise the latecomers, these are all big guys, None of you can afford to offend them, it is recommended not to open your mouth to speak. Yashi stretched out his hand and was about to pick off a leaf, but suddenly stopped his action. By the way, weren't you very curious about what is high dimension and what is low dimension? High dimension is not as great as you think, everyone can fly and live forever, this is heaven, not high dimension. But it is true that high-dimensional life can easily destroy low-dimensional life. Yashi finally stretched out his hand and moved the leaf in front of him. A brand new world appeared in front of everyone. See? This is the low dimension, and we are in the high dimension. This low-dimensional world should be connected to the dragon world for special reasons. Yashi's eyes stared at the leaf, and a hint of interest flashed in his eyes. Oh, I forgot. Your eyes should not be able to see it. Don't worry, I'll just adjust the live broadcast. Yashi knew what was howling in the live broadcast room without even raising his head. He waved his hand and called Tongzi. The system immediately made corresponding adjustments according to Yashi's requirements. And the lives of the 16 worlds also saw the world in Yashi's eyes. What is this? My eyesight is not good. I need someone to explain it to me. Is it your eyesight that is not good? I don't want to expose you. You are not smart. Have you played games? The game code in the background looks like this. First of all, this is not a breeding farm or a laboratory. It is a natural civilization that has developed naturally. From the perspective of civilization, it is estimated that it should be much higher than the dragon dimension that knows how to fight every day. I judged it according to the standards in the general sense. This is a world of half people and half snakes. The level of civilization should be able to carry out interstellar colonization, which is different from those giant pythons that are trapped in this dimension. But it's a pity. How brilliant this civilization is, how rich in noble morality the life of this civilization is, it has reached the world of Datong that supports the whole society. Looking at our eyes, we see the future that they will destroy from the past. The destruction of this future is not due to any other reason, just because this leaf fell. Yashi looked at the world under the leaf and said so. I understand what Blue Cat meant, so that's how it is. I saw the beginning and end of this low-dimensional civilization from Brother Yes live broadcast room. Tomcat, yes, time and space can actually explain which is low-dimensional and which is high-dimensional to some extent. The slower the flow of time, for example, 1 day in the sky is 1 year on the ground, the sky is higher dimensional than the ground. As for space, you can see the whole ground from the sky, but you can only see what's in front of you on the ground. I understand completely, I feel my mind is full of wisdom, I understand. Now I really understand what is high dimension and what is low dimension. Those who have played games know that you can come back and experience it again at any time, but that is someone's life. Don't make the atmosphere so sad all of a sudden. Although what you said is indeed true. But, forget it, it's not just that. Yashi stood up straight and looked at the camera again. That's true. For low-dimensional life, a breath in the high dimension is their life. Even the destruction of a low-dimensional civilization is just a breath of high-dimensional life. The world is like this. So Blue Star is desperately upgrading its dimension. People who watch my live broadcast should have fallen into low-dimensional life, right? Have you seen a lot of familiar worlds and know exactly what the plot of that world is? That's it? Yashi spread his hands. Okay, after we figure out the high and low dimensions, let's move on. Suddenly I feel that life has no meaning, that is to say. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 389. Tomcat, nothing meaningless, even if you are in a low-dimensional world, you can transcend if you really can't go to other universes, the world is so big, there is always a universe that suits you. If you can't even get out of the planet, how can you expect to get out of the universe? Tomcat, having said that, I am no longer sleepy. I have a multiverse traveling artifact here. The price is so low that you can't imagine it. Don't ask for 843927123901, just 119. Roll. Now you are not only a profiteer, but also selling fake goods part-time, right? Tomcat, I haven't finished talking yet. 119 RMB coins, a certificate of eternal RMB. Then you should get out. Meaning is something that varies from person to person. No, this kind of chicken soup for the soul is not suitable for our live broadcast room. Yashigong was about to give him a bowl of chicken soup for the soul, but he suddenly realized that the topic immediately turned to another inexplicable angle. If you think it doesn't make sense, you can discuss reopening it with the Lord of Hell. He happens to be relatively free recently. If you need it, you can leave a message under my account. I will discuss it with the Lord of Hell then. Don't worry, everyone. It doesn't matter even if the lives of 16 worlds ask for reopening together. There are many more lives in the universe than you think, so don't feel pressured. Supreme Qing Dynasty, I just died, now I don't want to die. I advise you not to reopen. Blue Star is very special. Understood, other worlds can be reopened. Virtuous Taoist priest, what a fool, it seems that our Baidu has no chance of reopening, the King of Hell has no control over us. Yashi casually posted a message on his account, 0. Then I closed my account and started walking in the world of dragons again. Well, I thought this dimension was quite interesting when I first looked at it, but now, it feels a bit samey. It's completely different from the world I went to. It's like I'm wandering around in a copy-pasted world. I don't know where else to explore. Let's roll the dice and choose any direction. Yashi didn't just talk, he actually took out a dice and threw it into the sky. Snap. A sound. The dice was bitten by a python. I finally found you. Why don't you answer my questions? How did you come to our world? What do you want to do? When do you plan to leave? Can you take me away with you? What is that thing I saw, and why can I see it? Why are there many snakes talking up there? Are those snakes from other worlds? Why didn't you become a snake? Why do you look so strange? What are we going to do next? Wait. Yashi stretched out his hand, casually picked a leaf from the side, and then with a swish sound, he played the dice out of its mouth. Northwest. After Yashi took a look at the final upward direction of the dice, he breathed a sigh of relief. He finally no longer had to look at the copied and pasted scenery. He looked at the big python that suddenly jumped out in front of him with some doubts. As a result, the big python was quiet for only 2 seconds and then started to open its mouth again. Fortunately, after learning the lesson from the last time. When the other party said the first word, Yashi shouted loudly. Stop. Who are you? Yashi looked at the talkative snake and asked a classic opening statement in a somewhat speechless manner. As if watching a movie. As if watching a movie ad 1. Ha 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 ha, I don't know why, I think it's so funny. Stop being funny, I don't know why every day, so what's the use of you? You called me. After the chatty snake heard Yashi's question, he was stunned for a second, then immediately reacted, pointed to the thing in front of it, and said so. Yashi glanced sideways and saw a translucent live broadcast room. The people in the live broadcast room are now Yashi and the snake. Oh, after my live broadcast room connected to this dimension, you happen to be connected too, right? Are you looking for me specifically? You don't need to be so enthusiastic. Is there anything wrong? It should be fine. I'm leaving now. Ha 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 ha, run away. I seem to have seen a social terrorist meeting a social phobia patient. People are on the road of embarrassing snakes. I still use this meme from many years ago. How old are you? One thing to say, brother Ye looks more like a social terrorist. Talkative snake. I want to ask you some questions. It looked at Yeshi's back as he turned around and walked away. His upright body straightened down, looking a little pitiful. Stop following me, I have no interest in pythons. Yeshi raised his hand and waved behind him. Originally, these words were meant to make the chatterbox snake retreat, but who knew that it became excited after hearing these words. Get excited for a moment. Its body is straight and upright, as if it had been measured with a ruler. Are you interested in people? I know where what you're looking for is. Everything that is not a dragon or a snake is locked up in one place. Yeshi's footsteps walking toward the northwest suddenly stopped. Then he turned around and looked at the big python with a happy face. I looked at the discarded dice again. I shake this for nothing. Tell me, which direction? The chatterbox pointed to the front of Yeshi. It's the direction you're going. There's a large area of dragon and snake water over there, and you can also see a tail falling from the sky. Near the tail, all the lives that are not dragons and snakes are locked up. Yes, you're not either, you should be locked up too. Wait a minute, don't be locked up. The python suddenly grabbed Yeshi. And then began to shed its skin, take off its clothes. It took off a complete snake skin and gave it to Yeshi. Here, just put it on. Yeshi. He frowned at the snake skin handed over by the python, then took out the big elang, held him down and asked him to wear it. But he refused to do so, and almost starved himself to death. Yeshi looked at it again. The shivering little elang who was hiding inside took a step back and relaxed his brows. Thank you, you are a good python, but it's not necessary. I haven't turned into a snake for so long and I don't plan to turn into a snake now. Let's go now. How long does it take to get there in the northwest direction? Why do I feel like I need a means of transportation? The big python seemed to be very confused as to why Yeshi didn't take its clothes. It tilted its huge head and became happy again after hearing this. Ride me. Yeshi. Ha 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 ha. Since I clicked into this live broadcast room, I haven't closed my mouth. No, why are you laughing with your mouth open? I always laugh with my mouth closed. It's so funny, you are just playing a match. In that case, show us one. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white-bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 390. Yeshi thought about it and decided not to refuse politely. He said it very directly. No. I'm not interested in riding snakes. Next time, I won't ride either. Okay, let's go. Take me to the prison you mentioned. Yeshi thought it would be difficult to speak. It turned out that the snake was quite easy to talk to, and after nodding, it led him directly. Have you ever discovered a very magical thing, that is, Brother Ye seems to have no popularity, only unpopularity. Please don't call them inhumans, please call them pythons. That's true. After watching the live broadcast room for so long, I saw that my brother and the others were human beings when I was in the desert, and they were all beasts elsewhere. Bold. You dare to say these words, what do you mean, what are your thoughts, what exactly do you want to say? Announcement bird, I just counted with my fingers, this time it is probably a human being, I am not a poisonous milk this time, I really did the math. The boa constrictor walked in front, and Yeshi walked behind. He watched the boa constrictor lead the way. It is not a straight path, but winding and winding, as if walking on some secret passage. It makes my eyes dizzy. Yeshi looked up at the camera speechlessly and said, You are just dizzy, my memory is failing. It's really like copying and pasting. I don't know how these beings survived. If it were me, I would have committed suicide long ago. Trafficking must be very convenient here. No one can find anyone. I have to keep walking somewhere. I can no longer remember the path I have taken. If I keep walking, I will really die. Yeshi looked at this barrage speechlessly, and after thinking about it, he chose to continue to attack their IQ. Friendly reminder, you can pull the progress bar on my live broadcast, but you can only pull it back, not forward. If you feel you can't remember it, you can watch it again and you should be able to remember it. Laughing and crying. How much longer? I don't know. What is long? What is long? There should be 3,712,808 more steps to go. The boa constrictor replied. Yeshi, I mean time, time. Oh, no, pretend I didn't ask. Time generally requires a reference object, but currently, everything in this dimension is immutable, so strictly speaking, there is no time. 1,000 miles away, what this means is, won't these big pythons die? I am Snake, yes, we will always be like this. The boa constrictor glanced at Yeshi and watched him talk to himself for a while. He originally wanted to answer, but after thinking about the previous times, he decided not to answer. A long time passed. Yeshi had already felt the strangeness of a big tail landing on top of his head. Looks like it should be here soon. Yeshi said as he looked into the distance. The boa constrictor nodded. Yes, we're almost there. Your live broadcast room is really fun. You can also see other snakes. They look really strange. Yeshi looked at the big python. Be careful, don't be assimilated by them. The boa constrictor nodded, okay, okay. Yeshi didn't even need to feel it now. He had already seen the big tail fall. The camera live broadcast room directly opened a wide angle to show all the pictures in front of it. At the same time, the viewers in the live broadcast room also saw the big tail. It's really a big tail hanging down from the sky. In other words, in fact, there is no sky at all, this is a world in the sky. The tail hangs down in the seawater, and the seawater also looks like a python. Although it is a bit surprising, compared with the big tail, the python-like seawater pales in comparison. What is this? I thought I was a snake. The tail that Snake said was just an adjective, but it turned out to be the truth. This tail is full of all colors. It looks like a collection of all the beautiful substances in the universe. It is like jade and gemstones. It is so beautiful that all adjectives that symbolize beauty can be used here. It directly moved Yeshi's DNA. He felt a familiar, very familiar, dreamy smell. But this snake does not have the power of dreams, but this snake is dreamed. He sleeps here. After falling into a long sleep, the breath of the dream leaked out. Isn't this dream power? Tongzi, have I finished collecting this authority? Ding, no. Okay, that's no problem. Hiss, so, was the snake smashed by the dream authority, or was it hit by someone with the dream authority? This overwhelming dreamy smell makes it hard for me to even see what the snake itself looks like. The big python stopped 500 meters ahead. Did you see it? This is the big tail, the great being that created this dimension. He is so beautiful, but none of us are as beautiful as him. The prison you are looking for is near his tail. Don't go there now. There are snakes guarding here. In the colorful sea, there will be waves surging at any time, and these waves look like boa constrictors. And the whole sea does not look like infinite, but looks like a python. In the middle of the python sea, about 7 inches away, there is a tail. This tail is combined with the body of the dragon snake that covers the entire dragon dimension. Like an Ouroboros. This is what Yeshi saw. But normal beings can't see this at all. They have been flashed by the dreamy big tail. 2. Beautiful. Got it? Don't stop me, I want to be a snake, I am a snake, I am not a human, I am a snake, I want to reopen, I want to be a snake. So beautiful, I seem to see my wife. I apologize for my dislike of this dimension before. This is too beautiful. This is the first time I have seen such a beautiful thing in Brother Yes live broadcast room for so long. Generally speaking, people with this kind of barrage, fortunately, I just went to the toilet, and my little nephew closed my live broadcast room and left only the barrage room, otherwise I would also go crazy. How can a person live without going crazy? What to pretend to be? If you don't see such a beautiful thing, it's your loss. Don't stop me. I'm going to the dragon dimension now, and no one can stop me. That's outrageous. Is this high dimensional life?